Thank you, everybody. Perry said that he had to make a decision very early on. Was he going to make a film in Jamaica that was meant for the rest of the world? Or was he going to make a film for Jamaicans? He made the decision he was making a film for Jamaicans. And that is why Harder They Come still resonates today. He wasn't trying to water it down. He wasn't trying to pretty it up. This was Jamaica for Jamaicans. This is who we are. This is who we were. And that is why it was such an important piece of work. It made people realize that it was okay to be completely authentic, and that if you were, people would get it no matter if they couldn't understand what you were saying. They got the feeling because the feeling was so strong. The emotion carried over. And you rooted for this guy. No matter what he did, you wanted him to succeed. He was a star. And that's what Perry went for when he was casting. He didn't look for actors, he looked for star quality. And he believed that Jamaica was full of star quality, that everybody there had a story to tell, and if he just put the camera in the right place at the right time, he would capture something magical. And I think you just saw a lot of that when he captured it in No Place Like Home. And you will again see it in The Harder They Come. He was a gifted director. He believed that if he worked with the actor, he let the technical people do what they had to do. My mother, Sally Henzell, was in charge of the look of the film, and he fired her every single day. But somehow she came back to work the next morning, and he said that she was the only one he actually didn't have to tell what to do. The Harder They Come, of course, was a saga in the making. We refer to it, the hard road to travel was very apt. But here we are, sitting in Hollywood all these years later. The musical, the stage musical, is touring London, having been very successful in the West End, Toronto, and Miami. And it will be coming to America probably next year. So the legacy continues, and we're very proud of it. Thank you.
And I would like to introduce PJ Souls, one of the stars of the film.
Wow, that was so long ago. But the music is still the same. I love it. It was really a joy to make the movie. I remember pretty much every minute of it. Like Arthur, we used to go down all the time because from New York, I think you could go there for $200. It was, for a week and spend time in the grill. I remember the old Negril, 7 miles of unspoiled beach. Like they said, you get a little house, and it came with a lady who would cook you ackee and rice and scrambled eggs, and go out in the afternoon and catch some fish for you. And it was just a wonderful place. And we had a really good friend. I don't know if anybody probably don't remember the name Bobby Bloom, but he had the hit song Montego Bay, and that was written down there one of the times when we were down there, and we all, through Arthur and the Tidbits, who were recording an album down there, really came to love Jamaica, and went there probably twice a year for 4 or 5 years. So it was really kind of a home away from home, and the Henzell family, I just remember her as that little girl. You saw the little clip of her on the bicycle. And I think that still shot was of you too, right? Ah, she was the most beautiful little girl.
Cheap talent.
It's still beautiful. But Perry was a director that really knew what he wanted. He would just, since there was no script, there was kind of just a talk about, okay, PJ, you're upset, you're really a singer, you don't want to be in the waterfall, you're getting tired of this product placement, and so very easy to work with, and kind of a training ground for me, beginning my career doing kind of improvisation. So what a great location, so that was a wonderful time for me, and I'm happy that finally it's on the big screen, and I can't wait to have my own copy, and probably won't show my daughter, but no, I will. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here, and I have very, very happy memories.
Last did not release the man who actually made this film actually come together, because as you heard the story earlier, the negative got lost, and like basically Perry would have to keep taking the film back and forth to Jamaica. So rather than have it go through electronic detectors or whatever get ruined, he left it in storage in New York, and the storage company went bankrupt. And so basically it was sitting in kind of for a long time before they found it, and then later on getting the whole thing and putting it together was David Garonzik. It's a special welcome to David Garonzik.
I don't even know what to say. I've been with it for 6 years. I mean, it's a long time. I mean, I've seen it 1,000 times. I mean, I've gone through every, basically what happened was when I got word, or we heard word that there was footage, and then I met a gentleman at a post house who was willing to ship the film here to the U.S. for me. He was willing to front the money and ship it here and tell us in it. We didn't know what it was. All we knew is that they had 880 pounds of footage. And it was labeled "No Place Like Home," and it was like in a back room somewhere in New Jersey. And so I remember the day when it came, and I went over there, and it was like 880 pounds of footage, 450 trim boxes. I mean, it was just miles and miles of footage. And but then quickly, it was decided that Perry would come to Los Angeles before even going through a frame of footage. So.
Were you scared to put it on the projector?
I did it all by hand. I mean, I would just go through, like Perry would, when he was here in Los Angeles, this is how he worked. He would say, all right, I have an idea. It's an image of Susan watering the lawn, and, I need that shot. And I go, well, Perry, we have like 375 more bosses to go through. I mean, it's going to take at least 2 months. But like serendipitous, how it would work out would be, he would just go away for maybe 30 minutes, and I'd just be going to, and I go, I found it! I got it, man, we got it! And we'd rush up to the Telecine house, and then we would just do that on a day-to-day basis. Sorry, a little cotton mouth. What was that? It took a year working, yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a question, because you mentioned earlier before the film that extraordinary book your dad wrote called Power Game, and he did 2 versions. He did a much longer version and published it. It's a Romana clef of what really went on in Jamaica in the 70s. People's names were changed to protect the guilty. The Prime Minister, I believe, is called somewhat contemptuously Percy, and Bob Marley is Lindo, and then so forth. But it is one of the most exciting books I have ever read in my life in any genre. And it pulls back all the different layers in that complex society of your country, Jamaica. And you referred to the film trilogy, The Harder They Come, the movie we've just seen, and the hoped-for Power Game. Is there any hope that we will ever see a film of Power Game?
Well, Power Game was just actually republished by Macmillan Publishers, so we have a brand new edition that's available. And yes, there is active interest in putting it on the screen.
Great. Wow.
Questions from...
Oh yes, right. Any questions from anyone?
Must have questions. I have questions.
What was new that you added that wasn't in the original footage?
A couple of inserts, mainly the trucks at the end, driving into Kingston. The old was all the motorcycles pulling in, but then when it got into the trucks, some of the stuff leading into One Foundation. Perry really wanted, with that song, the message was, we have to build for ourselves. If we're going to be self-reliant, we're going to have to learn how to farm again and teach ourselves how to grow. So the One Foundation was always like a very short number. And Alexis, the editor, I mean, it was really, he was the one, I would go through and locate the footage and take it up and get it transferred. But then Alexis is the one that really sat down with Perry and would put it together. So like the Toots and the Maytals, Take Me Home, Country Roads, that really opened up. That really expanded. It was always like a short number, like a minute. So between Perry and Alexis, they could really go through now all the footage, and just really open it up.
Was the music already there? Or?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anything added on top of what Perry had already chosen?
The end credits, but no, Perry pretty much knew, every song that he wanted, coming in from the cold, it was specific.
It's great that it was all songs. There wasn't any just music, and every song brought you right into the scene.
Right.
And that was awesome.